All rise, please. Circuit Court is now back in session.
All right, thank you. Be seated. I've informed the jury has reached a verdict. Is that correct, Deputy?
Yes, Your Honor.
Could you please bring the jury in?
Yes.
Deputy Garcia to Deputy Davidson, bring the jury.
Your Honor, the jury is present with the verdict.
All right, thank you. Mr. Davis, you're a foreperson, I presume?
Yes, sir.
All right, if the jury's reached a verdict, if you could please hand the forms to the bailiff. The bailiff, please hand the forms to me. Thank you. Okay. Madam Clerk, please publish the verdicts. Panel, please rise.
In Circuit Court, Pinellas County, Florida, Criminal Division in the case of State of Florida versus Domingo Rodriguez, case number 2404646CF, in the charge of aggravated cruelty to animals, be the jury find as follows. As a defendant in this case, the defendant is guilty of animal cruelty as included. As to the charge of unlawful disposal of dead animals, be the jury finds as follows. As to the defendant in this case, the defendant is guilty of unlawful disposal of dead animals as charged. So say we all signed by the foreperson of the jury.
Thank you. Defense will please be seated. Would either counsel like the jury to be polled?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, will you please poll the jurors and use the juror number, please?
Yes, Your Honor. Juror number 1, are these your verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 2, are these your verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 3, is this your verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 4, are these your verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 5, are these your verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 6, are these your verdicts?
Yes.
Thank you. Members of the jury, your service has concluded. I'm about to read you your final instruction, and then you'll be free to go. It's not much, but I have a certificate for each of you, signed by our chief judge with all the judges listed on the certificate. I also have a letter from me thanking you for your jury service. The law doesn't permit me to comment one way or another on a verdict, but I am allowed to comment on the service of a jury and your professionalism. As I stated earlier, I guess a few days ago now, this is an extremely important process, okay, to your community, for your state, and for your country. This is a cornerstone of our constitutional democracy, and I thank you very much, and I hope you look back on this service and say, hey, I did something that mattered, and you certainly did. And I'm allowed to comment on your jury service. You were on time every day, you were professional and attentive, and I thank you. I have this final instruction for you, then you'll be free to leave. The deputy's going to escort you out, make sure you have all of your stuff. If you need anything from me for work or school or anything like that, or you just want information, call my office. We're happy to give you that information. Also, if you ever just want to come down to the courthouse, I extend this offer all the time. These are your courtrooms, and you have a right to come down here and see what we're doing, and I invite you to come down and watch the process. But with no further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to thank you for your time and consideration of this case. I also wish to advise you of some very special privileges enjoyed by jurors. No juror can ever be required to talk about the discussions that occurred in the jury room except by court order. For many centuries, our society has relied upon juries for consideration of difficult cases. We have recognized for hundreds of years that a jury's deliberations, discussions, and votes should remain their private affair as long as they wish it. Therefore, the law gives you a unique privilege not to speak about the jury's work. Although you are at liberty to speak with anyone about your deliberations, you are also at liberty to refuse to speak to anyone. A request may come from those who are simply curious or from those who might seek to find fault with you. It will be up to you to decide whether to preserve your privacy as a juror. With that, you're excused. Thank you very much. Have a nice weekend. Thank you. All right, folks. Yes. Thank you. Would you please present your client at the podium?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sorry?
I'm going to get a statute report with the lesser.
You can get that from the state clerk.
I need a statute number for the lesser.
It's going to be 828.12 subsection 1.
828.12.
Subsection 1.
Okay.
All right, does anyone have any legal cause to show why a sentence ought not to be pronounced in this case?
At this time, no.
No, Your Honor.
All right, very good. No legal cause having been shown why sentence ought not to be pronounced in this case, the court will now entertain any submissions or evidence relevant to a sentence to be imposed in this case. He stands convicted of 2 misdemeanors. My understanding is his maximum incarcerative sentence would be a year in the county jail for the count 1 and 60 days in the county jail for count 2. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right, and what sentence is the state seeking at this time?
The state is seeking a maximum on each count consecutive.
Okay, and then monetarily, that's a $500 fine, fee, and court costs?
There is a enhancement on the misdemeanor animal cruelty fine.
I need to look it up.
Okay, but not something that requires a special finding?
No, Your Honor.
Okay.
I have my fee schedule.
Your Honor, based upon my reading of statute, it's an or on the $5,000 monetary fine.
Okay. Tell me that again, Mr. Zamora.
If you have the statute pulled up, the way that it's worded, Your Honor, it's, and I'm just going to read the last line, commits animal cruelty and misdemeanor of the first degree punishable as provided in section 775.082 or by a fine of not more than $5,000 or both. I apologize. So it's a $5,000 fine.
Okay. All right, so the state is seeking maximum incarceration of the defendant with required financials assessed and liened. Are there any invest costs?
There are $875 to the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office.
All right, and does the defense wish to be heard on sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
And your client will be given an opportunity to allocate if he wishes to do so once you're done or before you're done at your discretion. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, based upon what we know, there's no prior criminal history. He's gainfully employed. He has a family that he lives with and resides with. No priors that we're aware of. And we'd be asking for a probation sentence. We don't want, there was no offer related in this case. So we were kind of forced to go to trial. So I don't want this to be a situation where not that it would be a situation, but I don't want public pressure or us going to trial to be used against my client. We understand the ambiance of this case. However, we'd be seeking a probation sentence with anger management, the $5,000 fine, community service hours, you name it. But I believe a maximum sentence in this case to run consecutive would be against what would be just and fair in this case. And I stand by, my prior objections and my rulings.
Okay. All right, well, based on the jury's verdict in this case, Does the defendant wish to make a statement?
Can I inquire with him, Your Honor? And Your Honor, just so we're clear, you reserved ruling on the second JOA. Have you made a ruling on that?
No, I am going to deny the second motion, sorry, the second judgment of acquittal motion.
Yes, Your Honor. May I have a moment to speak with my client?
Yes. May I see the verdict form, sir? Thank you. Does he wish to make a statement?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Well, based on the jury's verdicts in this case, at this time, I hereby adjudicate you to be guilty of animal cruelty, first-degree misdemeanor. I hereby adjudicate you to be guilty of unlawful disposal of dead animals as charged, a second-degree misdemeanor. The court does not believe probation is appropriate in a case like this. The court believes that what was proven to the jury was a horrific act of violence perpetrated on an animal. We got to see video evidence that that animal appeared to have nothing wrong with it shortly before its death. I think one video depicts the animal leaving in a I don't recall what the witness said, but you know, in a happy mood, going off to his next adventure in life, and then he's horribly killed very soon thereafter. And then his, don't know what came first, but again, his body is further disgraced in the way he is disposed of. So, given those facts, the court believes a maximum incarcerated sentence is wholly appropriate, and I do at this time sentence you to 364 days in the Pinellas County Jail on count 1. Count 2, I sentence you to 60 days in the Pinellas County Jail. Those sentences will run consecutively to one another. So the maximum incarcerated sentence is essentially 1 year and 60 days, but the 364 is due to jail calculations. How much time does this gentleman have in custody?
He has 1 day.
I'll give you credit for the day you've already served toward the sentence. When you get out, obviously you will not be on probation. You'll need to take care of these financial conditions or they'll follow you around and cause you issues. $500 fine, fee, and court costs is assessed as to, this was a 2-count information, so that'll be assessed on the lead count. And of that amount, 132 is discretionary on adjudication. There'll be a $100 cost of prosecution assessed, along with the invest cost of $875 to the sheriff's office. There'll be $5,000 fine assessed, that's required by statute. And I believe that covers all the financials. They'll all be set as civil judgment liens against you. And Mr. Zamora, you need to stay on as counsel of record until the notice of appeal time runs out. Then if he is going to pursue, you have to file the notice of appeal if he does that. If you do pursue an appeal and you can no longer afford your services, you need to make sure that you get him back in front of me talking about whether or not a public defender will be appointed. But at this time, that is the judgment of the sentences court. State, did I leave anything out?
No, Your Honor.
Defense, did I leave anything out?
No, Your Honor, I just want to renew my prior motions and objections.
They're all preserved for the
Yes, sir.
record. Mr. Rodriguez, that's the judgment and sentence of this court. You'll begin your serving your sentence immediately. You have 30 days to appeal. Good luck.
And Your Honor, we just wanted to make sure with that, if the invest costs were announced.
The what?
If the invest costs were
I did announce it on the 875. signed prints. Madam Interpreters, thank you very much, or Madam and Mr. Interpreter, I can see both of you, for your service. And could you please let your office know thank you for me? Thank you. Can I have the attorneys to the bench, please? Can I have the attorneys to the bench, please?